What is up, y'all? Snipes-n-Snarfblatts, your unauthorized place for Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and Fox. As always, I am your host, Jason, and this is where we talk about all things that hit my radar in the realm of Disney entertainment for the week. As you can see, I finally got a Winnie the Pooh from Disney World. I have been hunting this thing for a while. I did not even believe my eyes when he was finally sitting there waiting for me. So, quick little congratulations to myself. We have some really cool stuff to get into. There wasn't much in the realm of Disney news, but some very significant things nonetheless. And then there wasn't much. We even got some video games to talk about. So let's go ahead and roll out that mouse in the desk lamp. Mouse in the desk lamp. What is that? That is where we talk about all things Disney and Pixar related. And we've got something just a week away to get into. We are a week away from Toy Story 4. So they've been flooding us with TV spots and clips. Nothing really big we haven't seen yet, other than this clip right here that introduced Christina Hendricks' Gabby character. She's like the villain of the thing. And as per villains go as of late, she seems like from this clip she's going to hit the scene and really introduce herself as a friend and act like she's really trying to help out and this and that. But obviously, if you are anyone who is in the know and you see a voiceless, soulless, ventriloquist dummy at someone's side, nice or not, we can tell that's the bad guy. Woody, however, is not that quick, so it looks like he's going to buy this thing hook, line, and sinker. But as for me, I see freaky little ventriloquist dummy by the side of anyone, and I'm going to say, you're probably not a great person because that thing's scary as hell. And that's just me. I do sometimes judge books by its cover, but only when it's something that is truly terrifying, like a voiceless, soulless ventriloquist dummy. Anyway, first reactions to this film are great. I kind of like the clip, except for like the old hat take on a villain. Or not, it's becoming old hat. It's actually a new thing, but we've used it to death with this whole I'm your friend villain thing. Like, I haven't seen it more prevalent than now than ever. But anyways, hopefully it's not going to last long. I'm sure it's going to turn quick because we've seen a lot of scenes inside that store so far. And I'm really looking forward to this film. Like I said, the first reactions are in. They're great. The first reactions to this film are like off the charts. They're saying this thing's like greatness on a whole level, just like the original three. So, one, expect a 5. And 2, I'm a little more excited for this film. You know me, I was on the side of, do we really need a 4th one? And like I said, if it's great, well then hell yeah, we need a 4th one. So I'm in there for this. I'm actually somewhat more excited than I was. We'll get more into my anticipation levels next week as we get right around the day, because I'm sure we're going to see more clips and TV spots just flood out. Like I said, nothing much new, but enough to really keep you pumped. I know McDonald's even has toys now that I can't wait to go play with, because I just want one. They got a Duke Kaboom, and I don't know what he does, but if he does the shooty thing like old school motorcycle, I want one so bad. But anyway, now we're even getting out of the actual film itself realm and into marketing, so I'm sure I'm going to be way more excited by next week, but I am a little more excited than I was the week before just because I'm hearing how great this movie is. But anyway, speaking of things I am excited for, and I never thought I'd say I'd be excited for this, they dropped a new official trailer to Frozen 2, and oh wow, was it amazing. Alright, so the first one, I really got into it. It was a really action-orientated. It was like it felt like they turned Frozen into an action movie, you know what I'm saying? This one takes some of that and then really focuses on kind of like the adventure side of it to let you know that this is not just action. It's an action-adventure film. And basically, I saw this as Elsa's transition from queen to superhero. There was a line, I don't know exactly how it goes in the trailer, but the line was like, we never knew if Elsa's power, we always wondered if Elsa's powers were going to be like too much for the world. Now we have to wonder if they're enough to save it. And I'm like, what? Yes, give me that you have now transitioned Elsa from princess to superhero. And that is just like, I got chills when she runs up the mountain and like, bling, and there's like these little icicles everywhere with like little signs on. It was awesome. Anyway, I can't wait, I wish I could switch places with this and Lion King, because I'm not that pumped about Lion King, but Frozen 2 is all of a sudden like, I would never thought. I like Frozen. Frozen's not great. I like Olaf more. The first time I watched Frozen, I didn't really like it much at all. It's kind of grown on me. So to say that I would be this excited for its sequel is just crazy talk. Like, this thing's got me so pumped, though. Like, the trailers look just amazing. Like, epic almost. I mean, you even get into like some freaky dark spiritual side, 'cause like it shows that scene where the ice breaks on her as she's trying to go over the wave, but this time it extends it a little bit and she goes underwater. There's like this air or water spirit horse that comes out, which has got me thinking there's going to be more elemental powers than just Elsa's. And then there's this scene, it's got like this giant that's like a cross between Hercules, Rock Titan, and one of the little trolls grown up to huge size from Frozen. And dude, this thing looks like it's going to be epic. It's if it's even close to what they're showing us in the trailers, this is going to be probably one of Disney's most dark yet action-packed. It looks awesome. I can't wait for it. Bring me this film. Take my money, Disney. I want to see this, and I cannot believe how much I want to see this. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about that trailer. If you want to see it, I put it on the site. Go down on the site later when you look through the description and check it out. That thing is awesome. It's on the Mouse and the Death Slam section of the site. But anyway, moving out of that, we're going to move into Chippendale shorts. There are some new Chippendale shorts coming to Disney Plus. They'll be around 7 minutes long. I'm not sure what to think because, as I've said many times, this newer animation style, as you see throughout Mickey and Friends and as you see throughout DuckTales, it really has took some time to grow on me. And at first, I'm always just kind of like, meh, when I see it, because I'm so used to like the meticulousness of the Disney style that I kind of miss that. But like I said, these Mickey and Friends cartoons, I've grown to fall in love with. Like, I love these cartoons now. I watch them all the time. DuckTales, I loved from the first time I watched an episode, animation aside. So if I can get past this just joke of an animation scheme for Chippendale, I think I'm really going to like it. Now, a picture says 1,000 words, so I'm going to speculate some words just based on this picture. And I'm thinking we're not going to get... I've loved Chippendale since they were tormenting Donald, you know what I'm saying? I don't think we're quite going to get that, and I don't think we're quite going to get the Chippendale we know and love from Rescue Rangers, you know what I'm saying? I think we're going to get an in-between of that, and that's just me over-speculating from one single picture, but that's what we do. But it seems to me that, just judging from the style of the picture and the way they look and they're running, that we're going to get kind of an in-between of that. So don't expect the masterminds that got over on Donald all the time, and don't expect Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. Expect a little of both. I have a feeling they're going to be getting into mischief a lot, but I have a feeling they're going to play real hard like Rescue Rangers did on Chip being like the mastermind, and Dale just being kind of the dummy that messes it up all the time. Which is kind of how it went in the old ones, but they did also work hand in hand to really get over a lot. And not one of them was really... One was considered a little slow, but never straight up dumb like he was almost portrayed in Rescue Rangers, because he was pretty much portrayed as being an idiot in Rescue Rangers. So I'm thinking we're going to get a combination of those. But like I said, that's just me totally over-speculating based on one picture. So that's all I'm going to get into that, because it was just a picture and a small announcement. Look for that on Disney Plus. One more of the many, 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 many reasons to get in to Disney Plus when this launches, and I think it was in October, November, something to that extent. I'll be there, whatever it is. Anyway, that's going to take us out of Mouse and the Death Slam for the day, and we are going to get into the 9 Realms for a couple of little tidbits. Jessica Jones, even though it is canceled, has a final season coming to Netflix, and they dropped a trailer for it, and I cannot get excited for it at all. Not like the trailer looks totally bad. There are some parts of this trailer that are pretty intriguing. Like Rachel Traylor's Patsy Walker, her character, I'm done with her character. Like, seeing that she's going more to the side that she was going to in the second one, and I saw her in a like full ninja garb or whatever, done with this character. I don't care what happens to her, so that's on just something else. But anyway, Jessica Jones and this new villain of sorts. I mean, okay, you got a villain that's going to go in on you on the fraud stuff and this and that, and probably really playing you for some stuff that you've done before, especially when it comes to Kilgrave in Season 1. So, full circle villain, I guess. Doesn't seem like quite the villain we'd give Jessica Jones anymore. Like, I mean, after seeing her deal with the things she's dealt with, this seems real street level for her to like have to deal with. But whatever. I think, as much as, like I said, it still intrigues me a little bit, I'll still watch this just based on the story they gave us, except for the whole friend thing, because I can't stand that character anymore. They ran it into the ground. But anyway, I can't tell if it's a lackluster trailer on why I'm not getting excited for this new season, or it's the fact that I know we're building on nothing. I already know there will not be another season, and it's not like this is an end season or anything, because why even force that down our throats? But I don't know. I don't know how to get too excited for this, because nothing's coming next, and that usually doesn't work that good for shows. We know there's not many cameos probably from the people we care about, because we haven't heard anything about it. So, like I said, I'm not excited for this season, mainly I think because I know it's over and this season has no repercussions on anything, and I was never that really invested in Jessica Jones anyway, except for Kilgrave, the Purple Man, who I thought was one of the greatest villains displayed throughout this whole series of Defenders things we've done. And it just, I don't know, I'm a little thrown off. I think I'm somewhat disappointed at the fact that I'm not really into this. But anyway, we'll get into something else that I'm kind of just meh on. It seems like that's just how it is for Marvel today. I'm a little meh on this Avengers A-Day game trailer. They showed a game trailer at E3. I'm sure there's some work to be done, but the trailer, it didn't really, as much as I've been waiting for an Avengers game like forever, a good one, this one just didn't do it for me, and that's sad, because I really want to play this. I still am excited for it. It's just on the level of the next thing we're going to get into. There's another game that debuted at E3, and on the level of that, this one just paled in comparison. So, I mean, you've got Avengers at A-Day. That's Avengers Day. It's this big, like, thing they're doing where they all meet up on a stage, say hi to everybody. It's a day party type thing, festival, you know what I'm saying? And their new Hela character goes ballistic and blows up for whatever reason. And honestly, it even looks like Cap might not make it through the explosion, which you might not even be playable. Cap might not even be playable, which means that's got DLC to buy one day written all over it. But unless they come back to him like in the first hour, oh look, you made it. But I don't know, because the Avengers are gone for 5 years. Everyone's got a bad view of superheroes, but then something happens where they all have to come back. And I think the first shell-shocking thing for me with this was, costume-wise, they went full MCU Marvel Universe, or MCU Universe, you know what I'm saying? So it's straight from the movies. However, they didn't get any of the characters to play these characters, so none of them look exactly like the movies. So I figured an amalgamation of comic style and movie style might have been best to sink you into this, but they didn't do that. They went MCU-wise. And my second gripe was, it really seemed like it was going to stick you with the OG Avengers. Like, you were going to get your Hulk, you were going to get your Iron Man, maybe Cap, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Like, it seemed, and Thor. Seemed like they were really keeping with those originals. And there's a lot of Avengers now. So for me, that's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor. If you're going to make me an Avengers game now, I want it to resemble Endgame, which, by the way, is a harder race right now for taking number one in the box office. Where I'm really wondering if Endgame's going to take that all-time worldwide first place from Avatar anymore. I mean, either way, it's an amazing achievement, but unless it gets a jump right before Spider-Man, I'm not seeing it get it, which is sad. Anyway, back to the game. Like I said, the game, I'm going to want it. I'm going to play it. I've been wanting an Avengers game forever, but it just doesn't seem as next-gen or mind-blowing as it should be compared to what we're about to get into next. And as I mentioned it twice now, let's get out of the 9 realms and bring that away. And let's put up Eyes on Isley. And Eyes on Isley is where we talk about all things Star Wars entertainment related. And we're going to get into that game I just talked about twice without saying it. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Oh, wow. All right, so we got a preview for this at Celebration, and I lost my mind. And now we got a new trailer, and we got a new, like 12 to 15 minutes of gameplay straight through. And this game just blows me away. Like, it's coming in November. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. It looks like Unleashed, you know what I'm saying? Upgraded with a storyline that'll actually be canon because it's not so intense. Like, I knew from the time I saw Force Unleashed and started playing it and you were Vader's apprentice and this and that this was going to be something that was whitewashed eventually. And it was, quickly. And in fact, it became kind of like an Elseworlds thing, like a alternate reality thing for a while. And now it's officially that. But this is canon. It names drops and throws in Forrest Whitaker's character Saw Gerrera from Rogue One. So he will come in contact with this Jedi you're playing as. And this, I'm all for that. This is just totally badass. Like, I don't know how far it's going to take us in the rebellion. Like, if you don't, maybe they were showing us the middle and that was Saul moving him on to his next step. Maybe they showed us the beginning. Who knows what they showed us and how far this will go into the rebellion. There's no telling who you can come in contact with in this. And much like Rogue One, I have a feeling this will have a very dark ending. If they choose to do a sequel to it, the sequel will have a dark ending. Either way, this kid you're playing is not going to make it, probably. That's just me looking into this as I looked into Rogue One. I was not surprised no one in Rogue One made it out of the movie, pretty much. Like, I was figuring that was going to happen. And I'm figuring that's probably what's going to happen here. But you get to play it, live it, really be invested in it, and I can't wait, y'all. The graphics of this look total next gen. The gameplay looks total next gen. They've got actual actors that you recognize to play these people. And it's canon and has an effect on the story. All those reasons right there is why when the Avengers A-Day trailer came out, I was just kind of like, meh. Because it lacks any of that. It lacks the real actors. It lacks the compelling story that actually is also canon. And it lacks the next-gen factor because it feels like it's just not quite there. This one has all of that and then some. And the fact that it is Star Wars. Y'all, I am EA... take my money, and I'm trepidatious saying that after all the trouble you've had, but you pretty much said this was your apology at E3 and EA. I cannot wait for this to come out and a one-player, just solo mission story mode just made for us to just soak in new story, and that is so awesome to me. That's going to be just wow. So I was everything for Eyes on Isley. I just wanted to go nuts about that game because it really did look that good. So we're going to pull out Eyes on Isley. We're going to go into What the Fox because we've got one just big Fox thing to talk about that has happened. I mean, there's been some little stuff, a TV spot for Ad Astra, which didn't really show much news, so I didn't really get into it. A Red Band trailer for Stuber, which not only was very little of Red Band, was very little new material too. But anyway, those movies look pretty damn good. And this one is what I wanted to talk about for What the Fox. Dark Phoenix. We're going to get into the aftermath of Dark Phoenix because a lot of people are talking about Dark Phoenix right now and not in a good way. This movie's had the lowest opening for an X-Men film ever. And that's not really fair to me because I feel like this is at least, at worst, a mid-tier X-Men film in the run of the whole thing, and everyone's blaming whatever. As usual, everyone blames Captain Marvel for everything, so we're blaming Captain Marvel and saying it was close to those, and that's why we reshot. I don't really buy into that because they're not going to cripple it just because of another thing. They're still going to make it try to work. A lot of this seemed to be crippled in the fact that Fox didn't want to do a two-parter like Kingsburg did, so he squeezed a lot of it all together. There's all kinds of things out there. The date got changed over and over because of one issue or another dealing with Fox or the Disney buyout or whatever. None of it seemed like it really had anything to do with Captain Marvel, so that's just crazy. Honestly, I think there's a couple of things that this had to do with. First, the bad press. There was really bad press on this movie coming out. Everyone said it was horrible. But there was also a lot of people on that kick of, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see it because I know it's going to be bad. And when you get that talk, that seems to be almost worse than the people that had seen it and said it's bad. So, I mean, I don't know. That's one thing I drew out of it. There was it just, I don't know, it seemed weird. The theater I was in, it was the first day showing and it wasn't even half full. The marketing on this was a roller coaster because the first sets of trailers were not good. The second sets of trailers were great, but your first impression's what counts, so people were still hung up on that. They gave away some spoilers in the first parts of the marketing, and not really they gave away the spoiler, but they showed just enough for anyone with some sense to know what was happening. So that hurt. So the marketing was a little sketchy. But even more so, it's kind of like how I was talking about earlier with the Netflix show, Jessica Jones, and it being its final. So much talk around this being the final X-Men. So much talk about in 5 to 10 years we're going to reboot it with the MCU. So much talk about all that has made it to where what is the point of watching this movie? It's going to lead nowhere. When you're part of something that's supposed to be a series, such as the MCU or X-Men for that matter, even though the continuity has sucked, they've acted like pieces of it were there every now and then. So if you're going to do something that continuous, people get used to wanting to know what's coming next. What's the next in your continuity? What's the next step? And there is no next step here. So even though they give a nice little send-off and setup to what was coming next, in the epilogue even of this, we know there's nothing coming next because they're eventually going to go to the MCU and get a reboot. 95% sure of, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think that had a lot to do with it. Like I said, this movie's mid-tier at best. You can read, go to the website when you look down the details and go to the movie reviews. You can read my full review. I didn't hate this movie at all. In fact, I liked it. I didn't love it like some of the greatest, but I really liked this movie. And I think that's most of the reviews have been, well, it doesn't suck as much as everyone's saying. And that shows how much everyone's saying it sucks. Some people not even have seen it saying it sucks. So, I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. Like I said, watch my first thoughts. Everyone that I went to see it with liked it. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know what went wrong with this film other than those couple of things I touched. And if I really had to say one, I think it's the fact we're focused on this is the first one and we're going to go through a reboot anyway. I mean, it's X3 territory. It's a subject we've already covered. We've done Dark Phoenix. It was shitty, but we done it. I don't know. I'm really blown off like how this is going to affect the X. I'm worried how this is now going to affect the X-Men going to a turnover. Because now when you go to reboot them, are people going to be able to just completely not think about these, where some of these are considered really, really bad? Even this one's now going to take the rap of being really, really bad until its DVD release, when people are like, well, it wasn't that bad, but still, do I want to see another X-Men? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of how we got with Spider-Man after Spider-Man 2. There was a lot of people, do I really want to see another Spider-Man, another beginning, another guy? I can see that going down with this. So I can't wait to see how the future for the X-Men plays out. But I definitely will not go down on saying this movie was as bad as everyone's saying it is. But check out the reviews. That is it for the show. So as always, send us some emails. Tell us what you think. Tell us if there's anything you want to go over in the parks. Tell us if there's anything you want to go over under the Disney Empire that I might have missed. And let me know your thoughts on some of this stuff or your questions on what I think. And we'll go back and forth. That's what this is all about. So we love to hear from you. Snipes-n-Snarfblatts at gmail.com. Other than that, subscribe, hit the bell, share this with your friends, and while you're down there subscribing, check out the links at the bottom of the description. There's 4 links at the bottom of the description. Those links, actually there's 5. One's the website directly, so you can check out some of those movie reviews and check out some of that stuff directly after this. But if you want to keep up with what goes on there, hit the Facebook and Twitter ones and follow us or like us on those, and you will know the day things happen when they hit my radar and what I really think about them. And then I get to come back every week and talk about it more and more in depth. So go on that so you can see it right as it happens. Like us on Facebook and Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. If you follow us on Instagram, you will get all my pictures of the park. I'm always at Walt Disney World taking pictures. Not to mention I'm doing food and drink reviews sporadically throughout those. Food and Wine's coming up, so you're going to want to be on there. That also hits Facebook, but follow us on Instagram anyway. And let's see, what else do we got? We got Pinterest, which is pretty much the same as all of those, Facebook and Twitter. If you follow us on one and hit the Snipes-n-Snarfblatts link, you'll always know what's going on at the Snipes-n-Snarfblatts website. Follow us on YouTube for our movie reviews and this show every week. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and that is pretty much all for the show except for the quote. Always like to sign off with a quote. 90% of the time it is a Disney quote like it is right now. And this one's great because it feels like Disney basically foretold the meme generation that we're into now. And we've got, of all of our inventions for mass communication, pictures still speak the most universally understood language.